Hey everyone, buckle up for a wild ride back to Hollywood's golden age, where the dazzle of the silver screen hid some mind-blowing financial empires. We're not talking pocket change. These actors built fortunes that could rival today's tech moguls or old-school tycoons. A Hollywood wealth guru once said, "These stars weren't just rich. Their money matched the biggest industrial barons, and some would be billionaires today." Today, we're unveiling the 15 wealthiest actors from that era, spilling the tea on how they stacked their cash, sometimes through genius moves, sometimes through jaw-dropping schemes. From secret investment kingdoms to tax tricks that rewrote laws, these folks were as brilliant off-screen as they were iconic on it. And wait till you hear about number 3, a star whose financial wizardry was so next level, it's still studied today. Yet they kept their massive wealth hidden from fans and even the IRS. First, let's set the scene. These fortunes weren't just big. They were colossal, making today's A-lister paychecks look like spare change. Here we go. Number 15, Fred Astaire, $10 million, worth about $210 million today. Picture Fred Astaire gliding across the screen with Ginger Rogers, all charm and grace. But behind those slick dance moves was a business brain that turned steps into stacks of cash. Fred didn't just earn from films. He multiplied his money like a Wall Street pro, says a celebrity finance expert. While others blew cash on mansions, Fred scooped up California land before it became Beverly Hills and Bel Air hotspots. He bought dirt-cheap plots that turned into prime real estate, says a property historian. By the 1940s, his Broadway and film earnings hit $10 million, $210 million today. His masterstroke? Launching Fred Astaire Dance Studios in 1947, a franchise empire still cashing in millions. Fred lived lean, running his horse racing stable like a business, not a rich guy's toy. His wealth was no accident, says his biographer. He knew fame was fleeting, but California land was forever. Number 14, Bette Davis, $12 million, about $250 million today. Bette Davis was known for fiery roles and epic Hollywood feuds, but she was also a financial trailblazer who broke barriers for women. She rewrote the pay game, says an entertainment lawyer. When Warner Brothers tried to shove her into weak roles, she fled to England, fought a lawsuit, and won control over her career and cash. By the 1940s, she was pulling in $100,000 per film, $2 million today, plus profit cuts, a deal men usually got. Her divorces were just as savvy. She turned breakups into financial wins, says a Hollywood marriage expert. Unlike actresses who lost big in splits, Davis's 4 divorces, especially from Arthur Farnsworth, left her with properties that soared in value. By her death in 1989, her $12 million, $250 million today, showed her genius. She kept and grew her wealth when women were expected to depend on men, says a finance historian. Number 13, Clark Gable, $15 million, around $320 million today. Clark Gable, the king of Hollywood, didn't just dominate the screen. He built a financial empire with laser focus. Gable approached money like a battlefield general, says a wealth historian. After Gone with the Wind made him a top earner, he poured his cash into Texas oil, Arizona cattle ranches, and California commercial properties. His boldest move? Snagging defense contractor stocks just before World War II. His timing was either lucky or psychic, says a business analyst. Those investments grew 30 times over during the war. By his death in 1960, his $15 million, $320 million today, was huge, especially for a guy from humble roots who lost chunks in a divorce from Maria Langham. He skipped trendy ventures like clubs and bet on steady industries like oil, says his biographer. Gable said, "My films give me thrills, my investments don't need to." Number 12, James Stewart, $18 million, about $380 million today. Jimmy Stewart's boy next door vibe hit a financial mastermind. a World War II bomber pilot. He used his aviation smarts to invest early in commercial airlines that took off post-war. He saw the future of flight before most, says an aerospace historian. His real brilliance? Diving into high-risk insurance markets. Stewart was a math nerd who loved crunching numbers, says a financial journalist. He backed an insurance firm covering films and aviation, sold in the 1970s for a 70-fold return. By his death in 1997, his $18 million, $380 million today, was mostly from outside Hollywood. Acting was just his startup cash, says an analyst. Living simply in a modest home and driving an old Volvo, Stewart's wealth let him pick roles for love, not money. Number 11. Barbara Stanwyck, $20 million, around $430 million today. Barbara Stanwyck went from Brooklyn orphan to Hollywood mogul, crafting a fortune that's a masterclass in strategy. She pioneered tactics stars still use, says an entertainment attorney. In the 1930s, she set up a loan-out corporation, taxing her income as a business to avoid crushing personal rates. This kept more of her cash than peers losing 90% to wartime taxes. She invested in Depression-era stocks like IBM and Coca-Cola and bought industrial and farmland across the West. Her 1941 San Fernando Valley ranch became prime LA real estate. Poverty sharpened her eye for deals, says her biographer. By her death in 1990, her $20 million, $430 million today, was a testament to her hustle. Number 10. Joan Crawford, $25 million, about $530 million today. Joan Crawford's relentless drive wasn't just for Oscars. It built a financial empire through corporate clout and brand licensing. Marrying Pepsi CEO Alfred Steele in 1959, she didn't just play the spouse. She joined Pepsi's board, one of the first women on a major corporate board. She shaped marketing and global growth, says a former Pepsi exec. Crawford also trailblazed licensing her name for fashion, cosmetics, and home goods, creating cash flow long after her acting slowed. She knew her image was a gold mine, says a marketing expert. By her death in 1977, her $25 million, $530 million today, reflected her tight grip on expenses. She'd haggle over pennies, recalls an associate. Real wealth watches the small stuff, she'd say. Number 9. Cary Grant, $30 million, around $650 million today. Cary Grant's polished charm hit a financial genius who reshaped actor pay and tech investing. In 1936, he pioneered profit sharing, taking 50% of film profits instead of flat fees. For To Catch a Thief, he earned $700,000 instead of $100,000, a massive leap. He set the standard, says an entertainment lawyer. Grant also bet early on TV, buying Motorola and Magnavox stocks when peers mocked the medium. His Howard Hughes connections led to big wins in aviation and pharmaceuticals. He kept emotions out of deals, says his biographer. By his death in 1986, his $30 million, $650 million today, grew post-retirement in 1966. Money works when I rest, he said. Number 8. Claudette Colbert, $35 million, about $750 million today. Claudette Colbert's elegant roles hit a ruthless business mind. She made cutthroat deals look charming, says a film historian. For It Happened One Night in 1934, she demanded $50,000 for a month's work, later renegotiating for $150,000 per film. Her real edge? Commercial real estate. While others bought homes, she grabbed office buildings in LA, Manhattan, and Chicago. Her 1940s Chicago complex, revamped with early AC, surged tenfold in value. She studied properties like scripts, says an associate. By her death in 1996, her $35 million, $750 million today, was built with precision, yet she lived simply in a New York flat. Number 7. Gary Cooper, $40 million, around $850 million today. Gary Cooper's cowboy grit masked a savvy investor who became a land baron. He didn't just play Western heroes, he lived it, says a historian. In the 1930s, he bought struggling ranches in Montana, Wyoming, and Idaho for their mineral rights: copper, coal, uranium. These paid off big during post-war booms. He saw what others ignored, says a resources attorney. His royalty deals tied to commodity prices spiked during the Korean War. Cooper also backed aviation and telecom. By his death in 1961, his $40 million, $850 million today, was earned frugally. He kept the same Jeep for 15 years. Number 6. Jimmy Durante, $50 million, about $1.1 billion today. Jimmy Durante's goofy persona was a front for a financial titan running a proto-private equity firm. His clown act hit a sharp mind, says a journalist. He invested in TV cables, aircraft parts, even film chemicals, betting on industry foundations. His smartest play? Suburban infrastructure, water lines, power stations, delivering steady returns. He picked the unglamorous but reliable, says an economist. By his death in 1980, his $50 million, $1.1 billion today, was boosted by charity giving. His schnoz sniffed out deals, recalls a friend, referencing his famous nose. Number 5. Jack Benny, $55 million, around $1.2 billion today. Jack Benny's stingy on-screen character was a hilarious cover for a financial innovator. In 1948, he launched amusement enterprises, owning his radio show's rights. He sold content, not just talent, says a media analyst, saving millions in taxes. Benny invested in radio towers and TV equipment leasing, betting on entertainment's backbone. By his death in 1974, his $55 million, $1.2 billion today, was paired with off-screen generosity. Fans laughed at his cheap act while he built an empire, says a friend. Number 4. Mae West, $60 million, about $1.3 billion today. Mae West's bold persona hid a genius who mastered intellectual property and real estate. Her 1932 Paramount deal included script control and image rights, earning royalties from her quips. She owned her brand, says a copyright attorney. West bought LA apartments and a Las Vegas commercial strip, predicting urban growth. By her death in 1980, her $60 million, $1.3 billion today, was a female-led victory. Censorship made my fortune, she said, nodding to her boundary-pushing assets. Number 3. Harold Lloyd, $75 million, about $1.6 billion today. Here's the bombshell. Silent film star Harold Lloyd outshone Chaplin and Keaton, building a secret empire still being uncovered. His films were just the beginning, says a historian. His production company kept 85% of profits. After the 1929 crash, he bought California farmland and water rights, betting on their future. His 1938 financing firm backed risky films, acting like a venture capital fund. He funded what studios wouldn't, says a finance expert. By his death in 1971, his $75 million, $1.6 billion today, was hidden in trusts, making him a shadow mogul. Number 2. Mary Pickford, $85 million, about $1.8 billion today. Mary Pickford's sweetheart image masked a ruthless business mind. She used stereotypes to win, says a historian. Her 1916 deal, $10,000 weekly plus half her film profits, was groundbreaking. Co-founding United Artists in 1919, she owned the production chain. Her 1920s Burbank land buys became studio gold mines. She waited decades for value to peak, says a developer. By her death in 1979, her $85 million, $1.8 billion today, was a female triumph. Number 1. Charlie Chaplin, $100 million, about $2.1 billion today. Charlie Chaplin's Little Tramp won hearts. but his real legacy was Hollywood's biggest fortune. His 1916 mutual deal, $670,000 yearly with film ownership, was a game changer. United Artists gave him 90% of profits. He was his own studio, says an attorney. Chaplin invested in aviation, radio patents, and Middle East oil, earning drilling royalties. By his death in 1977, his $100 million, $2.1 billion today, survived his U.S. exile. He ran a capitalist machine while called a communist, says a historian.so. That's the lineup of Hollywood's golden age money moguls. Number 3, Harold Lloyd, blew us away with his hidden empire. Which story shocked you most? Hit the comments and let us know. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you next time.